There we go. All right, we're live on YouTube and Twitch. Sorry for the delay, YouTube. I know I had the stream scheduled like 7 minutes ago. Thanks for hanging out and waiting while we were getting set up. I do appreciate it. Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Happy refresh day. Happy refresh day. I really like the shop this week. I actually picked up everything that was in the shop this week. I didn't do that last week or the week before. Now, we are live a bit earlier today, you guys. I have an errand to run at 6, so I'm probably going to end the stream around 5 or 5:15. So, you know, we'll try to move things pretty quickly today. That way we can hopefully get your, you know, we can discuss the snap results, we can discuss the premium shop, and hopefully we'll have time to start assembling some snap builds for tomorrow's video. First thing we're going to do is discuss snap results. And with the stream being a little bit earlier and a little bit shorter, we do have a partial goal today. Thank you again, you guys. For yesterday, we hit 200 goals. So today should be 201, but we actually hit 200 goals, I think, on Monday, but I had the numbers wrong. But we celebrated yesterday. We celebrated 200 goals. I already commented, Beyblade, on LOTR Snap, and gave like a detailed explanation of why it could have underperformed, but we'll talk about it. Of course, we'll talk about it. I saw it in the group. I saw they only got, I think, like 1,500 or 1,200. We talked about that with this challenge. Now, fortunately, my snap did really well. It was around the top 100. I think just shy of that, which is great. You know, like I said, I don't really put too much stock in the number I get in my rank. I only care about landing in 4K. And if I land in the top 5, even better. But there's a lot of fluctuation there. But, you know, this is why I was talking about utilizing villagers being very, very important. I've seen a lot of snaps in, like the top 100 this week, and they're all using villagers really, really well. So I think that can be super important for challenges. You know, with this new villager toggle, you know, I think I might have had too many villagers in mind, but apparently it worked out. I was kind of nervous. I was like, is this too many villagers? Like, I went crazy. But the concept here for my build, you know, the challenge says we were making a universal expo. Like, that was the challenge. And we were supposed to build, decorate, and bring our expo to life. Now, if you Google the definition of a universal expo, that would be akin to a world fair, right? A world fair. That's a large-scale global event, a really big event. And world fairs are typically going to showcase things like architecture, industry, technology, art, all kinds of things. So that's the direction I took with my snap. I wanted to make it very busy, like a world fair would be. So I wanted a lot of villagers. And I wanted them interacting with the items. Like, you know, here we have like Mike and Donald checking out this telescope that Merlin's showing, and he's over here trying to get our attention. And then we have Eve over here with some technology. We have Jafar kind of enjoying himself over here. Joy is back here showing off the inside-out sense of self lamps. When we go to the right-hand side, we have Oswald and Ariel showcasing Oswald's car. We have Conductor Goofy showcasing a train. And Tigger's just jumping around back here. Eric's having a good time. But I love this snap. I think this might be one of my favorite snaps I've done. I really, really like this one. So yeah, you know, it's super fun. It's super fun. Sunshine, where's your comment? I saw people replying to you, but where are you? Are you hiding from me? Why can't I find your comment? Senpai Snap could have been top 1, and I wouldn't have been surprised, says Sunshine. Well, it all comes down to what you pop up against. I mentioned that when I made the snap, you know. It would have been cool, but, you know, I never hold my breath on top 1 or anywhere in the top 5. It's super unpredictable. It's super hard to know where you're going to land. I definitely, you know, as far as your snap LOTR, I'm honestly kind of bummed that it did not perform better, because I think it was one of my favorite indoor builds. It was very, very well constructed. But like, you know, like we discussed with this challenge, the difficult thing for this week's theme is that there were a portion of voters that didn't understand the theme. And that was, I mean, that's something you can check, if you go online and you look at forums and people talking about Journey into Imagination, a lot of people had no idea what to do, and they didn't bother really looking it up or, checking what the challenge was about. And if you end up getting those kinds of voters, they might not understand how your Dreamsnap ties into the theme. So, I loved your Dreamsnap LOTR. I thought it was, I thought it was likely for 4K. I'm sad that it didn't get 4K because it was really good, and we can talk about it here. But yeah, that will happen sometimes. For this challenge, that's why, for my example scenes, I did outdoors. I mentioned highlighting architecture, because there's two types of, well, really, there's like 3 different categories of voter I would consider every time you make a Dreamsnap. One category is the hyper picky people. I would fall into that category, to be honest. I like voting for snaps I think are very worthy of 4K, because like every week, I see snaps that really deserved 4K, like LOTRs, that end up falling short, and they didn't get enough votes. So for me as a voter, I love to seek out snaps that have a lot of thought and effort put into them, a lot of beauty, and I love to give my votes only to those snaps. And I love to be very specific and very particular with the theme. That's how I vote. Now, that's just one category of voter. The next category would be the middle range, where you're not super picky with the theme as long as they're trying, but you also won't vote for just anything. It needs to have, like, some level of effort. And the last category would be the people that don't really care. They're just there to get their 50 moonstones. 2 pictures pop up. They vote for whatever. They might not really read the theme. They might not really understand what the theme is discussing. They're only there for moonstones, and they're just going to vote for whatever they want. So because of that, voting can be a little bit unpredictable sometimes. And depending on which categories you get in your voting pool, I think I was lucky this week. I think I ended up getting a lot of voters that understood what I was doing here and understood it was an expo. And I think, I also talked about the avatar presentation, the formal looks. And honestly, I'm so glad this did well, because I almost never use my male avatar, and I really like the curly mustache for this one and the top hat because it had that old-timey World Fair feel. So I'm really glad that my male avatar clutched up this time, because most of the time I don't use them because there's just almost always better options for the female. You get great options with the makeup. You get great options with a lot of the outfits. For the male, I think it's a lot trickier, but I wanted a mustache. I wanted the curly mustache. So I was like, I'm going to go with the male avatar. I really like the look. But, a lot of things we talked about during the reviews, we talked about, how you could do any kind of expo and still resonate with a theme, because the final sentence of the challenge did state, build, design, and bring your expo to life. So when I was voting, I saw a lot of art expos. I saw a lot of technology expos. I saw oceanic expos. So the most important thing was to have an expo. But when we talked about making your Dreamsnap as competitive as possible, I did allude very often to the fact that I do think going in a, in a direction where you highlight multiple different types of things, especially architecture, is going to make your snap very competitive this week. Because when you think about expos or world fairs, they're very large-scale events. And, it does bum me out that some really good outdoor submissions didn't get the results they truly deserved here. But, that's the thing with themes and with voters. It's very hard to predict, and I think the safest thing to do if you want to be very consistent is just to overplay the theme. Like, indoor is really good in terms of, like, if you're going to be doing a challenge like Bedroom Beauty or a challenge like Dreamy Kitchen. And then there's also several other challenges where I think indoor can be very, very good. But what I've seen today, and we're going to look at the submissions here in a minute, but most of the 4K submissions I'm seeing shared today are outdoor builds that feature a lot of architecture and have a heavy villager presence. That said, I do feel that a lot of indoor submissions deserve more love here, but it is what it is. It is what it is. It's one of those things. Candy said, I understood the thing, but most people seem to agree that you could either focus on imagination aspect or expo aspect with imagination, as it just felt more fun and creative. Mine is number 3 in the game. Very excited. Though it was actually rank 6 as Candy. Oh, nice. Good job, Candy. Good job. Well, here's, we talked about that too, Candy, when we were doing the reviews, as far as doing the imagination versus doing the expo. My advice was to do both. Do an expo, but make it very imaginative. And if you look at most of the snaps in the 4K range, that's kind of what they're doing. So they're doing expos, but they're adding a lot of flair and imagination to it. So this is, and that's also why I included Figment right here in the center, to really play up that journey into imagination. So you don't want to leave out the title, but you also don't want to ignore the description. Because again, there's a lot of picky voters out there. Like for me, I'm not going to vote for any submission that's not an expo. I'm just not going to do it. And I know I'm not alone in that. Now, you're welcome to vote however you want. But if the challenge says you're making a universal expo, build, design, and bring your expo to life, if I see a submission that's just a, no expo and just imagination, I wouldn't vote for it. But if you're lucky enough, you'll get voters that will. It all depends on what voters you get. And, when it comes to getting a really good rank, that can happen any week, regardless of what you do, as long as you either, as long as you resonate with the voters you actually get. So there's a lot of fluctuation in Dream Snaps. The best thing to focus on is not, singular snaps, but consistency. Both times I've been in the top 3. So I've got 2 rank 2 snaps. I've got a few in the top 10. I've got a bunch in the top 100. When it comes to getting these ranks, I never look at my snap as if it was better than everybody else's, or as if it was just, it was just that good. That's why I got rank 2. No, I don't see it that way. Like Topsy-Turvy Tea Party was one of my rank 2s. And I think this is a wonderful submission. I really like it. I think it's beautiful. But I also fully understand that the reason I got rank 2 is because I received voters that resonated with the idea I presented, and I popped up against snaps I could consistently beat. When it comes to Dream Snaps, that's something you can't control. You can't control what kind of voters you get, and you can't control what kind of photos you pop up against. So some weeks could be really good, and some weeks can be not so good. And that's why, my rule of thumb, to be as consistent as possible. In the past 2 years, I've had one snap not get 4K. In a 2-year span, one snap. And it got 2,500 and just fell barely short of 4K, and I understand why. I took a bit of a risk with it. The funny thing is, I made a YouTube guide for the challenge, and pretty much everybody that followed the guide and did what I said in the guide got 4K, but I departed from my own advice, and I wanted to do something very different. I love it. I wouldn't take it back. But it is the only snap in the past 2 years that has not gotten 4K. So that's the main thing I focus on, is consistency. And what helps me be very consistent is I always try to design my snap in a way to where I can win votes from the very picky people, from the people in the middle, and from the people that are just voting quickly, and just by making sure my snap is beautiful and fun. So that's like the main focus there, which is why, I advised I would not focus on just the expo, and I would not focus on just the title. The safest thing to do would be to make sure you incorporate both. That's why in all my Dreamsnap tip videos, we always state, I go over the description and the theme, and then we say the title is just as important as the theme, and the title this week is blah, 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 so make sure you do this, this, and that. So making sure you're incorporating elements of the theme and the title. Sometimes they're very similar, but this week they weren't, But I saw some builds that just had the imagination banner, and they were like walking into it, and there was like magic behind it, but it wasn't an expo, so, I didn't vote on it personally. But I know there's a lot of people out there that would. So, if you're lucky enough and you get voters like that, then you can end up at rank 1. It all just depends on what kind of voters you get, how they feel. But designing your snap in a way to where you can hopefully win the votes from, from all the different crowds, you're never going to resonate with everybody, of course. There's no way to design a snap to where everyone's going to like it. I feel very certain that if some people looked at this, they would say, this is way too busy. It overwhelms me. It gives me anxiety. I don't like this. And that's fine. That's why I was a little worried about this snap. I've never used this many villagers, and my snaps aren't usually quite this busy. So I wouldn't have been surprised if it got 2,500 or even 1,500. I would have said, well, I made something I really loved, but the voters I got, I think it was too crowded for them. And I would accept that, because, like we're saying, it's very unpredictable. Very hard to say. Very hard to say. That's why you should never be too hard on yourself. If you end up not getting the results that you want. And that's also why, trying to design your snap in a way that can help to embody the title and embody the theme and making the theme like hyper obvious and hyper clear is great, because even with the pickiest of voters, if they can't really debate whether you are or aren't on theme, you'll be a lot safer with them. Tater says, yeah, I got 2,500, but I really like my snap. 2,500 is very good, Taters. The thing to consider with 2,500 is you're still in the top 10%, or around the top 10%. So, you should be very proud of that. You should be very proud of that. Even that one snap I had that didn't get 4K, I was very happy that it was still in the 2,500 range. So, it's 1,500 less moonstones, and it's not quite as high up as I would have wanted it to be. And the snap I'm talking about, if you guys don't know, is Illusion Valley, which is funny because my Illusion Valley guide was actually my most popular guide for Dream Snaps I've ever done, because a lot of people want to know how to make good illusions. And the example scene I did was like a very large portal, and that's what most of the people in my community ended up doing. And pretty much all of them got 4K. But for my Illusion Valley, I had a very small portal, and I had this super neat idea. I wanted to do like heaven versus hell for the illusion, and I wanted to build a portal here. I kind of just incorporated my own whole side story into the theme, and I think that's one of the reasons it didn't resonate with everybody. Not to mention, I think the biggest reason this didn't resonate well with the voters I got was most Illusion Valley scenes were very beautiful. Like, there was a very high beauty factor. Mine was more doom and gloom, We've literally made hell, and then we have a portal into, like, heaven, and we have our Pantheon Angel, and then we have Hades, I love the snap. Again, this is still one of my favorites. I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't take it back. I really liked it. But, I'm not going to sit here and say, I was robbed, it's unfair. No, I get it. And I'm happy that the people that watch my video and followed the advice I gave did get 4K. That's more important to me than my snap results. I would actually feel way worse if a bunch of people took my advice and then got 1,500. Like, that would make me feel absolutely horrible. So, I would rather be the one to fall short. And also, I try to usually do things a bit differently than I do in the tip videos, because I can't control this, but when I make a Dreamsnap tip video, I find replicants of the builds I show in those videos while voting. Like, I find exact copies. Hey, we got a raid coming in. 35 frames from Mon-Fri. Let's go. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. Good to see you. Thank you for the raid, Mon-Fri. Thank you. Mon-Fri, are you excited for Pokemon Go this month? It's looking crazy. I get to raid you. Happy update day. How are you? I'm good. Happy refresh day to you as well, my friend. Yeah, Pokemon Go is looking really good this month, by the way. We have Go Fest. I think this weekend it's like 4 times Stardust, 4 times XP. There's some really exciting raids coming up. But it's Pokemon Go's 10-year anniversary. I know you play as well, so, I just wanted to share the hype with you. But yeah, I really like this snap. But like I said, sometimes you can have a really unique concept and you really love it. Like, I absolutely adored this snap. But, it is what it is. Sometimes it won't resonate with the voters you get. But yeah, I'm glad this did well. Like I said, with the Journey into Imagination World Fair or Expo we created, I could have seen this going either way. I could have seen this potentially getting 2,500 or 1,500 because it was so busy. But it turns out the voters I got really liked it. So, you yippee. We ended up right around the top 100 with it. So, yeah, very happy with the build. Happy it did well. Alejandra, thank you for the on-screen celebration, my friend. Love a good party. Woohoo! Let's go. Voters love this kind of snap, Senpai says Sunshine. I agree. Detour says I love to play Pokemon Go. Dude, add me! Add me on there. You want my Pokemon Go code? I can pull it up for you real quick. I'll send you gifts. And I'll invite you to raids. Yeah, I think, yeah, let me pull up my friend code for you. I'll put it in the chat, Detour. So for a snap like this, you know, I do think snaps like this can be very popular. And when it comes to, villagers, you know, this is a lot more than I think you would normally see, but voters do tend to really like snaps like this. And this is also why now that we have this new villager toggle, you know, I keep bringing up how useful this is, how competitive it can make your snap. If you look at a lot of the snaps in the top 100 or top 500 this week, you're going to see a lot of really good villager utilization. Hang on, let me get my friend code for you. Friends and friend. There it is. I'm going to put it in chat. So if you happen to play Pokemon Go, send me a friend request. Let's be friends. By the way I play Pokemon Go, I've played since 2016. Yes, Max, absolutely you can add me. If I don't have room on my friends list, I'll delete people so I can add you guys. Because, like, I don't know a lot of the people that are my friends on there. Because people just add me from raids all the time. We have a pretty big Go community here. So for, yeah, and by the way, for Go Fest, I actually stopped playing. I usually stop playing in the winter because I'm from the South. I'm not built for the cold Ohio winters at all. So when winter comes, like, I hibernate. I stay indoors. I do not go out much. So, yeah, I don't really play in the winters up here. So I usually start playing again each year right around Go Fest, and then I play for a couple months, and then I put it down. I was almost level 50. I think I was like, I actually stopped playing for like 3 years and then came back to it, and the game was so much better. So I played 2016, 2017, and I quit in early 2018. And then I managed to log back into my old account, I think back in 2024 for Go Fest. Yeah, I think it was 2024. And then I started playing again. And last year I quit right when they changed the level cap. So I actually had enough XP to be like level 78 or something. But when I came back, I was at level 70 because now there's like new duties and tasks. And I started playing again last week. Or no, I think a week and a half ago, and I'm already back up to level 72. I think what I have to do now is win 30 raids, and I'll be level 73. But yeah, it's fun. It's fun. I love Go. It's nice because I love biking. I love getting out. I love enjoying the weather. So yeah, add me. My friend code is in the chat. I would love to have you guys there. Guess I need to play again, says Jira. You should, Jira. You should. Go Fest is coming up. And also this weekend, if you want to get a lot of Stardust to power up your Pokemon, if you want to get a lot of XP, the entire weekend, there's no cutoff time. The entire weekend, you're going to get 4 times Catch XP and 4 times Stardust for every single Pokemon. And by the way, that's super rare in the game. It only happens like once in a blue moon. A 4X is the highest it ever goes. So this weekend is definitely a good time to play. I'll definitely be playing this weekend. And then Go Fest is coming up. Let me check the calendar. Go Fest is the biggest event of the year, and they're bringing back Mewtwo. They're actually bringing back Mewtwo, who has not been in the game since the very first Go Fest. That was the first time we saw Mewtwo. So for the 10-year anniversary, they're bringing back Mewtwo for the first time, and they're giving us Mewtwo's Mega Evolution. So really big Go Fest. If you miss it, if you miss Go Fest this year, who knows when you'll see Mewtwo again, because it's been 10 years since we actually saw Mewtwo in the game, or like 9 years or something. But it's what I'm saying has been a really long time. So if you do like playing Pokemon Go, I highly recommend playing during Go Fest. And yeah, the Go Fest is going to be July 11th and July 12th, by the way. July 11th and July 12th. Now, what I recommend to really make the most of GoFest, if you open Pokemon Go, I know we're off topic here, guys. I'm sorry. I know you're here for Dreamlight Valley, but this is my part-time obsession. If you open the Pokemon Go app, there's a little map or a little icon in the top right for an app called Campfire. It's kind of like Discord. And if you open it with Pokemon Go, you can link it to your Pokemon Go, and it's going to show you all the events. And there are community ambassadors that will host these events near you. So if you have an issue where you're like, yeah, I want to play GoFest, but, you know, there's nobody around to do raids with me, or, you know, I don't know where I could go to make the most of it, in the Campfire app, you're going to see where the community ambassador for your area is hosting GoFest, and that's typically going to be at a big park in your area. So if you really want to make the most of GoFest, use Campfire and see where everybody is meeting. For the area where I am, up here in Ohio, there's a really big park about 20 minutes away called Delco Park. It's got huge bike paths. It's got a massive lake. It's an amazing park. There's like 4 baseball fields. There's like 3 soccer fields. Huge park. And over at Delco Park, there's like probably 20 gyms, like 60 Pokestops. It's massive. And for GoFest, there's thousands of people there. It's so cool. It's so cool. So that's where I like to play. But yeah, if you guys ever want to take a trip to Ohio for GoFest, you know, for my GoFest fans out there, if you love GoFest or if you love Pokemon Go, come to Delco Park in Ohio and play with me. You know, the area where I live is not like a big touristy destination, so it would probably be pretty cheap to fly into here. And yeah, you could stay for the weekend. Someone said, let's road trip to Ohio. You guys totally should. You can always plan for next year, too, if you want to, for GoFest 2026. You know, or you could drive down in a couple of weeks. But yeah, I would love to play with you guys. That would be so much fun. Imagine. Lars says I'm actually in Columbus. No way! You're not far away at all. I go down to Columbus all the time for flights if I'm flying somewhere, because it's typically a lot cheaper to fly out of Columbus than it is Dayton, because Dayton is a very small airport and it has like a lot of connections. Laura Gale, if you play Pokemon Go, you should drive up to Delco Park. I'm in Fairborn's area. Yeah, I think Ohio is like the 11th most populated state. So, which is funny because like it's Ohio, you know, like, but yeah, it's one of the more populated states. So I know there's every time I bring up that I'm in Ohio, I usually see a bunch of comments also saying that they're from Ohio as well. Oh, thank you, Samantha. Thank you for putting it in the YouTube chat as well. I see Cheese Bam was asking. Thank you. Sunshine said, I like the stream. Thank you, Sunshine. But then he said, I still can't believe my mom called me a crazy squirrel. Wait, your mom called you a crazy squirrel? Why? That's kind of fun, though. I grew up in Gahanna, Ohio. Now I'm in Texas, says Mimi. I grew up in North Carolina. Unfortunately, I don't play any Pokemon games. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. It's not for everybody. I like Pokemon. I've always loved Pokemon since I was a kid. When I was really young, when we just had the original Gen 1 Pokemon, I had a book, a Pokedex book, that listed all the Pokemon in order and told you all about them, and I memorized it. I was so obsessed with Pokemon. I could list, you know, all the Pokemon in order. I could tell you all their types, all their type weaknesses. Now, there's so many Pokemon. Even as like a fan of Pokemon, I will, you know, these days I'll see Pokemon and I'll be like, I don't know what that is. I don't know what type it is. I don't know what its name is. But I haven't followed the franchise as closely as I used to. But yeah, one of my favorite Pokemon games would be Pokemon Go, and also Pokopia. Love Pokopia. But if you're, even if you're not a fan of Pokemon, or if you've never played a Pokemon game, Pokemon Go is great if you like outdoors. If you want a good reason to get out of your house and go on a walk, if you want a good reason to go to the park, if you want a good reason to ride your bike, Pokemon Go is it. You know, it's a very fun game. There's a lot to do. You can make a lot of friends. And it gets me out of the house, which is nice, because otherwise I just kind of stay in the house a lot. Okay. I love playing Let's Go Pikachu and now Violet. Yeah, I have Scarlet and Violet. The cool thing with Violet as well, Katie, is it links with Pokemon Go. If you have Scarlet and Violet, you can get this special gold bag, and you can spawn Gimme Ghouls, which is pretty cool. Sorry, I've been nerding out here for a minute. Okay. Detour says he's not like me when I was younger. Yeah, we might be around the same age range, because, you know, I feel like that was most of us that grew up in my era, because that's when Pokemon was, like, really big. South Park even made like a whole episode about it. It was so funny. I play in Sacramento, and the way everyone gathers and plays together at the big park / capital is so fun. Dude, I would love to go to like a big city. I'm actually kind of sad that I saw it so late, but I did see the official Go Fest, which happens before the global Go Fest, which is what's coming up on the 11th and 12th, was in Chicago this year. And I'm only 5 hours away from Chicago, but I didn't realize it until like 2 weeks from the Chicago Go Fest. Because I really want to go to a Go Fest in person one year. Like, you know, not the global one, but the actual one. And doing Go Fest in Chicago, I think, would have been so cool. But when I realized it was only like 2 weeks away. And now I got to wait like 5 years for it to be in Chicago again, because it usually moves around the U.S. Like, it'll be Chicago and then California. And I'm not flying to California for Pokemon Go. I'm sorry. I'm just not, you know, I'm not that rich. I can drive to Chicago, but yeah, I can't really fly out to California just for Go Fest. I'm only an hour out of Chicago and wanted to go, but no one would go with me, so I didn't buy a ticket. They sold out super fast, though. Yeah, I probably wouldn't have even been able to go anyway, because by the time I realized, I bet you the tickets were all sold. I don't think you're my age. You're way younger, says Detour. I think you would be surprised, Detour. Detour, how old do you think I am? Like, what's your guess? What's your guess? How old do you think I am? I look a lot younger. He's kind of old. I am kind of old. He said 38. All right, well, you guessed really, really close. Okay, well, nice. All right, I guess you do know how. I guess you do have an idea of how old I am. Catterday says 25. Jamar says 32, 34, 34. Yeah, oh, you know, you guys are close. A lot of you guys are close. But yeah, I'm older than I look. I'm older than I look for sure. Well, Dreamer, I haven't said my age yet. The guy says 15. Well, by the way, I talk about Pokemon. You could see it. You know, you could see it. Detour says I'll be 56 on the 31st. Okay, you definitely. Okay, you got some years on me. You got some years on me. Well, you know, you're not that much older. You know, like you're not that much older. But you know, you do have me beat. You do have more XP than I do for sure. Okay, I teach college kids. You seem much older than them, says JMR. Well, I would hope so. I would hope I seem older than a college kid. Because when I was in college, I had no idea what was going on. Willow says, I'm willing to try Pokemon Go. I haven't played it. Oh, dude, if you want to try it, Willow, I can send you a referral, and I think we both get items from that. Message me on Discord, Willow. Message me on Discord, and then after the stream today, it'll probably be later tonight, but later I will send you a Pokemon Go referral if you want to give it a try. And that goes for anybody else here. If anybody else wants to try Pokemon Go and you've never played it, I can actually get a special badge by referring people to the game. So if you want to give it a try, yeah, shoot me a DM on Discord. Willow said, I'm also 58. Oh, you're the same age. You're the same age as, where'd they go? Chat was moving pretty fast. Yeah, I think same age as Detour. The guy said I'm 59. Are you? I always thought you were close. I always thought you were close to my age, Dekai. I always thought you were close to my age. I think it's pretty cool, like, how diverse the age range is in my community. We don't really have anybody here that's, like, 18 to, you know, well, I think Rob is one of the younger ones. Rob, I think, is, like, 22 or, like, 23 now. So, Rob is pretty young. And I think we do have a handful of people that are in their early 20s, but not too many. If I had to guess the demographics for my stream community, I would say most of the people here would be between the ages of 30 and 60. Like, that whole range, which is a pretty big range. Yeah, it's funny because a lot of you guys are around the same age as me. Like, you know, I think it's kind of cool because it's not like it was intentionally set up that way. You know, it's just like, I feel like, you know, similar people attract, or people attract kind of, you know, who they are. So, Hilpez says, I'm 27. You got your whole life ahead of you. Tomb says, I'm 26, in my mid-20s, I guess. Ghost Girl says, I act 12, but I'm 57. I act 12. Yeah, it's actually pretty surprising. It's pretty surprising that there's so many people here closer to my age or older. But I like that. I like that a lot. You know, I'd rather not make content for, like, kids, you know? Like, I would never want to be, like, a YouTube kid Minecraft creator. I love making content for adults, which is why my Twitch stream is set to 18 and up. Now, when I go live on YouTube, I think it's accessible to everybody because I like to make sure my tips are available, so I'm usually a little bit more mindful of, like, what I say, but when I'm just live on Twitch, since my stream is 18 and up, I can cut loose a little bit more. But yeah, you know, it's, I love the fact that we have a good adult community, you know. I think everybody is kind of in the range, you know, 20s to... We do have a lot of people that are between 20 and 30, but I would say, if I had to guess, like I said, maybe a good percentage of the community is between, like, 30 and 60. My 7-year-old likes watching you with me. Some kids like you. Well, yeah, I know that. There's, I actually have a lot of friends, JMR, a lot of friends that tell me that their kiddos like watching the stream. So even when we are having 18 up banner, I try to be somewhat mindful of that, you know. As long as people are aware that the stream is intended for 18 and up audiences, then that's cool. You know, I do not mind if people like their kiddos watch. My 8-year-old immediately love watching you play Mecha Chameleon. Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. We're gonna play again tomorrow. For Thursday. And I really want as many people to join as possible. Cheese is definitely a poll. A poll would be good. Yeah. We could always run a poll to see what the age range is here. Yeah, maybe we can do that. Can I run a poll on my YouTube stream? I've never done that before. I think I can, right? I mean, I can run it on Twitch. The guy says, oh, I want to play. I'm ready now. Let's go. Awesome. Okay, so if you want to play Mecha Chameleon with us tomorrow, if you just shoot me a DM tonight or right now on Discord. Yeah, DM me if you want to play Pokemon Go. I can send you a referral code if you've never played before. And DM me if you want to play Mecha Chameleon with us tomorrow. I would love to get a full lobby of like 10 people. What's Mecha Chameleon about? It's a hide-and-seek game, Duchess, where you paint yourself into the environment. It's so fun, and it's hilarious to watch. It's super fun to play, but it's on PC only, but it's only like a $6 game, but it has exploded in popularity. I think they've sold like 10 million copies now. I can show you real quick what it looks like, but we played it last week as well. It's so much fun. So this is how it works. You'll have hiders and seekers, and you get this little paintbrush set with all these colors. You can press spacebar over any color to duplicate it, and basically your objective is to remain hidden until the time runs out. And there's, you know, you can climb up on walls, you can get on the ceiling, you can be on the floor, you can paint yourself into so many different types of environments, and you can also customize the lobby, so, like, you can do taunts to, like, whistle at people, and when people look at you and don't find you, they have to shoot you to find you with a little paint gun. If they don't find you, you rack up a bunch of points whenever they're looking at you, but they haven't shot you yet. So there's, like, a point system, and it's just so much fun with friends. Like, it's such a fun game to watch. It's such a fun game to play. Like, this is a hunter with a little paint gun here. But yeah, that's essentially what it's about, is You know, it's hide and seek, but you got to paint yourself into the environment. And yeah, it's just so cool. It is such a cool game. I disguised myself as a ham the other day. Yeah, this person's trying to hide as a shirt. You can do like metallic coats, but yeah, we'll be playing again tomorrow. I've had so much fun playing this game with you guys. And yeah, it's always a blast. So if you want to play, let me know. Or if you want to watch, it's so fun. It's so fun. Kat said I took tomorrow off work. Have a long weekend. I'd love to play Mecha tomorrow. Hey, let's go. Yeah, shoot me a DM on Discord, my friend. Love to have you. Would love to have you. Your ham was pretty darn good. Dude, the ham was great. I got really unlucky. I got really unlucky just because of the whistle, because Tommy was right next to me when the whistle happened. But I was so surprised nobody saw my ham, because I was right in the middle of the room on a table, like balled up, painted as a ham. I love spots like that. I love hiding out right in the open. It's super fun. Calamity says I'm low-key bad at Mecha Chameleon, but I love the laughs I get. Oh, that's what's enjoyable about the game, you know. It's not designed to be taken super serious. I think Mecha Chameleon is the most fun when you come up with goofy hiding spots that are good, or you put yourself into a painting. Even if it's not the greatest work, it's just fun to like try to paint yourself into the environment. It's fun to try to find people. It's really cool. I told my 20-something on Mecha Chameleon she's hooked. I'm not on PC. Oh, I'm glad you're I'm glad your family members are playing. That's awesome. That's awesome. The guy sent a message on Discord. Great. Yeah, we'll get you in there. Switched off YouTube because Twitch is being glitchy today, says Dreamy Luna. Oh, sorry to hear that. Sorry. Yeah, sometimes, you know, it's good that we're on both platforms, because sometimes it's weird. No, we're playing tomorrow, Hope. We're playing Mecha Chameleon tomorrow. For now, let's talk about the Snap reviews. I'm going to get in the Premium Shop after that. Premium Shop is looking good this week, by the way. You guys are looking really good. Gilda says send a message on Discord. Sounds fun. Oh, and I think somebody was asking, is it just Steam or PC? So, you can play on Steam, but the game functions with a mouse and keyboard. I think you can play it without a mouse and keyboard, but I haven't really tried that. So for, you know, like if you have a device that has Steam, you can play Mecha Chameleon. So it doesn't necessarily have to be PC, but yeah, it's a Steam game. But I would recommend mouse and key. I'm losing my mind trying to get my Snap for this week set up. Not because I don't have an idea, but because I have too many ideas. Yeah, it's another open-ended challenge. We've had a lot of those lately. I don't know if the devs have run out of specific ideas, so now they're just giving a bunch of Snap themes that are just like, here's a general idea, go wild, you know. I've kind of liked it, though. Mon-Fri says, oh my god, Senpai, this is the best ever Premium Shop. Yeah, it's super good. I can't wait to get into it. But first, let's take a look at your Snap results, guys. Let's take a dive into this week's results. So, if you ever want to be part of the result discussion, what we do is every Wednesday, I post my Dreamsnap, and I ask everybody to share their results in the comments, and then we discuss them here. I made this post only an hour ago. We already got 96 Dreamsnaps shared here, so we're going to be looking through these. I need to reply to some of these comments, because if I do, the post will get more traction. By the way, if you ever want your Facebook post to be seen by more people, if you reply, more people will see it because there's conversations happening. So let me reply to a couple of these, and then we'll take a look at them. Great job. Oh, Tanya did a nice World Fair as well. Awesome work. World Fairs appeared to be very well appreciated this week. Oh, Alex says I got my highest rank so far. Alex's Snap was so good. I knew this one was going to do good. I think Alex's Snap deserved even better than rank 513. I wouldn't have been surprised if this was in, like, you know, I wouldn't have been surprised if this one was, like, in the top 100. It's such a great Snap. You had one of the best Snaps I saw. You deserved even higher, says Leslie. Dang, Leslie said the exact same thing I just said, and I hadn't even read her comment yet. That's super funny. I knew this would do well. Excellent work. I would have not been surprised to see this in the top 100. All right, let's take a look at what we got here. Amanda, rank 1602. So the Magic Expos also appeared to do well here this week. That's awesome to see. I'm glad we, discussed this concept as a good option. But yeah, I love how clear the things are on display here. Like, the Ambrosia here, the potion bottles, the spell book is very clever. And you filled out the space really well, Amanda, so great job there. Tanya also did a World Fair. Oh yeah, we reviewed this one. A World Fair build here as well. Got rank 2306, so great job on the rank. Good villager presence. We have some attendees here. And yeah, great job on the rank. I would be willing to bet this could have ranked top 1,000 easily if we had the sun behind the camera. So, worth considering if you, want to push your rank even higher. But yeah, very, very solid snap. Not surprised it ranked well. You have trains featured. We have the balloons over here. I like the statue. And I love the red carpet with the inauguration ribbons. Really good feel. And then the robot centered right at the front kind of is a good showcase in its own, too. Very nice. Kayla says, I went for a Westworld, Wild West. Oh my god, Westworld. I haven't thought about that show in forever. Rank 2998 here. Playing up the meta, having the camera close to the avatar, good lighting, sunset time of day, sun behind the camera. And you even played up the Imagination title by having that little Imagination Land banner in the back. Got some good villagers present within the scene. Yeah, like we stated, Alex's was really good. I love the interaction she has here. Like we have Sally talking to Mirabelle. We have Joy showing off these memory orbs to Vanessa and Rapunzel. We have Vanellope over here. Merlin over here checking out this little planet. We have Eve and Wally checking out the robots. Just a very, very solid setup on the villagers. And it has a really good World Fair kind of vibe with the balloons, the hot air balloons in the back. Awesome job. So it looks like Zombies ended up getting 4K. I'm not sure what the rank was here. A risky snap, I think, but I'm glad it worked out. You got voters that... I think the outfit was definitely helpful because it was like very formal, that you would see in like kind of a World Fair scenario. Rank 330. Your highest rank ever. Very nice, Caitlin. Very nice. Not surprised. I really like this one. I thought the Toy Expo was very clever. Only risky thing was there's a lot of outdoor World Fair builds that have, or Expo builds that had a lot more depth of field and allowed them to use a lot more villagers. But since you're doing a Toy Expo, you don't really need as many villagers. You can just focus on these two. But it's very pretty scene. The lighting is very good. You're playing the meta up really well. You've got your foreground filled in perfectly. You've got the sun behind the camera. Beautiful sunset time of day paired with the Mushu fireworks, paired with the reflective nature of the building, and some great items on display here. So, very clear expo. Lilo did end up getting 4K with this one. The balloon and the parade float back here, I think definitely help with the expo vibe. The outfit also, like the little top hat, is pretty formal. So I'm glad this one did well. It is a very pretty snap. Oh, this one only got 1,500. That's really unfortunate because this is actually really good. I've seen other snaps in the 4K range that I think aren't quite as strong as this one. But that's also what I meant with the voter pool. There's always going to be snaps that definitely deserved 4K that fell short. I also did mention when I reviewed this that posing as somebody working on the vehicle would be a little risky. simply because the challenge did specify that we were hosting the event. It was saying our valley has been chosen for a Universal Expo. Showcase your world to others. So I think that's why, if we look at a lot of these snaps that are in the 4K range, the avatar really feels like they're hosting the expo or hosting the event. And I think that plays very strongly into the theme. And I did mention that when we reviewed this one, the build itself is really solid. Like, we even have an imagination land back here. We have a lot of technology on display, which is really cool. We have the hot air balloons. So it has a really good, like, World Fair feel to it. But if I had to wage a guess on, why this one broke the streak, I think it was just unfortunate. You probably got voters that were looking for something else, or potentially, having the avatar look more like a mechanic than a host could have been a bit of a risk, which we did discuss there. It's not always going to matter, but if you get certain types of voters, like the picky types, it could definitely impact your results. Which again, I think that's why we see a lot of these 4K snaps. We see the avatar sort of as the presenter, the host of the showcase here. Olivia said, I got my first 4K ever. Oh, congratulations! Hopefully the first of many. Yeah, really nice little showcase here. I like the little snowman here, the snow globes on the side. You have the inauguration ribbons. Well, presenting the avatar. You've got plenty of attendees. So, yeah, great job. Deserved 4K. Very nice, very nice. Casey got rank 8 this week. Very good, Casey. Very good. And if we take a look here. Yeah, we've got the Scramblecoin pieces on display on the sides. And this is a good World Fair kind of feel. The avatar is very formal, very well dressed, appears as a host. We have these twin Ferris wheels in the back. We have the Main Street Emporium, the Winter Palace, the Disney Parks entryway, the little pretzel stand, and a very good crowd. Again, now that we have this new villager toggle, the way you present and utilize villagers is going to be very, very helpful in making your Dreamsnap competitive. So I would think about this with every challenge. No matter, for this week's theme, since it's all about color, I'm going to use a lot of villagers, but I'm going to focus on very vibrant and colorful outfits for these villagers. And also, like we said, the way you present them is important. Look at this, this mirrored pose here between Snow White and Aurora. Like this perfectly mirrored pose. Very, very cool. Love that. Love that. Great job. Congratulations. You suggested changing Mickey's outfit, but unfortunately ran out of time. Well, it didn't really seem to matter in the end, I think since you're so well dressed, you can have Mickey as a host as well. But, sometimes it's not even worth it to go back for a change like that. If, like, the confetti, fireworks, and villagers are all perfect, it can be a lot of work to make a change like that. Rank 1,000, almost top 1,000. Very nice, very nice. He has a good World Fair kind of vibe here. Gabrielle got ranked 31. Very good, Gabs. Very good. This challenge was tough only because I didn't understand it. The description was different from the title. I know. Everybody's complaining about that. Well, I got it done, and I'm proud of the result. Thank you so much, all who voted. Yeah, really good job here. The inauguration ribbons, we have a lot on display. We have all these popcorn buckets on display on the left and right. Good layering of the villagers here. We have Lady and Tramp right at the base because they're shorter, and then Mickey and Minnie behind them. Great presentation of the avatar. Good formal host, Good World Fair Expo vibe. Now we have this one as well. Another 4K snap. I think great outfit on the avatar. Good displays. So we have an indoor one here. This got 4K, which surprised me. Ranked 3,331. My daughter got a better rank than I did and loves that. Well, very nice, very nice. A good gym expo. I love the portrait in the back. I think that really adds a great beauty factor to the scene. And then you have the inauguration ribbons. You brought in several villagers for an indoor build, which is really good. I think very strong, very strong. Kristen ended up getting 2,500 for their Eternity Isle Expo here. 2,500 is still really good. You said it in my short streak, but I'm still really happy with it. I just think it might have been too niche and just went up against some snaps that people were more drawn to. Yeah, I think that's a very reasonable way to look at it, Kristen. And I think you should still be very proud of this. You know, 2,500 is still a great range to land in. You're very close to 4K. You're kind of around that top 10% bracket. And yeah, I think it's wise to look at it as there might have been other snaps people were drawn to. The only downside to like an Eternity Isle build like this is, you know, it's going to carry a lot of gray. And there's so many snaps out there this week that are just very vibrant, very colorful, very busy World Fair kind of scenarios. But yeah, you still perform well with that. Hey, I'm Mags on Discord and Twitch. This was my first time submitting for a review. I followed you for a long time and learned so much from watching you. I got 4K this week for the third time in the last 5 weeks. Well done, Mags. Well done. I'm hoping this is the start of a streak for me. Rank was 1,617. Next goal is to get top 1,000. Thank you so much for all your tips, tricks, and advice. Well, keep up the great work. I have absolutely no doubt that you'll land in the top 1,000 if you keep, you know, making amazing snaps. You know, you've definitely been doing a great job with the feedback and from watching the content. You presented the avatar very well here. Mickey is very well dressed. You have you and him kind of at the front of the scene. You have great displays on the side. You have the hot air balloons, the observatory. So, you know, a lot of very solid positionings on the items. So yeah, keep it up. You know, if you would have popped up against different things, this could have been a top 1,000 submission. You never really know. It's very hard to predict where you're going to land. The main thing is just to focus on landing in 4K. And if you continuously do that, you will eventually land in the top 1,000 as well, and potentially even the top 100. First kind of tech expo we've seen today. This did well. Ranked 2,331 4K. I'm so happy because I did this the night before refresh. Dang, last minute, huh? Well, good job. You know, the avatar, you know, looks like the host of a tech exhibition. You've got some great villager presence here. Stitch and Mike and Sully and Jasmine and Wally and Eve and Snow White, Joy, Sadness, Flynn. Yeah, very good villager utilization. Love the Aurora, love the colors here. And you did a fantastic job with your settings. This is something a lot of people can struggle with when it comes to night shots. They can be a bit more technical because if you want everything in the scene to be nice and colorful and visible, and if you want it to stand out in the voting phase, really having you know, that highlight and that saturation can be super helpful. So great job there. Glad I got 4K for the Companion Expo. You didn't have many suggestions for the review, but I ended up changing a few things. I like how it turned out. Catterday Girl. Yeah, I'm glad this got 4K as well. This was actually one of my favorite Companion Expos. I think you did a really good job with the Companion idea. The bird statues right at the front is really clever. And then having the different habitats on display is super cool. And then you even have, like, you know, some things like blueberries on display. Like, you have their favorite food on display, which I love. Like, the seaweed on display in front of the turtles and the blueberries on display in front of the raccoons. Really clever. And also great job with the villagers. You know, you have, like, on over here pointing at something. Pocahontas in front of the Miko house. Very good, very good. Ring 27,000, 1,200 moonstones this week was a bit rough for me, but on to the next one, says Denise. Yeah, the main thing we talked about in the review for this one, Denise, and I think if you apply this for your future snaps, you see how your shadows are going to the left? I think if you would have incorporated the advice we talked about, I think this could have performed a good bit better. So these buildings you're using, these Athens buildings, right? They are really valuable with the right lighting. So here we see them with the sunset lighting with the sun behind the camera. And this was the main component I was telling you about when we reviewed your snap. And I was saying one of the most important things when it comes to getting 4K aside from theme, would be lighting. So if you're using the Athens kit and Hercules' house and some of these other items, they have really good light reflective properties. So, these gold notes will actually light up and reflect sunlight, and they look really good. But that requires the sun to be behind your camera, and you're using the sun as a spotlight. So this is very important when it comes to getting 4K. But we can tell the sun is off to the right in your image because we can see the shadows going to the left. Like Phil's shadow is going to the left. Rapunzel's shadow is going to the left. Yours is going to the left. And I think this could have gotten 4K with better lighting. And again, it just comes down to what voters prefer. That's typically what's going to do the best and what's going to be most likely for 4K. And what we see through most of our 4K range is the sun behind the camera casting really, really good light into the scene. I also commonly bring up that I try not to play up too much white, especially with the midday lighting, because these white tables are going to absorb a lot of color out of your scene. And if we look at this one, we can't really see where the tabletop is versus the drape down. I think if you had these blue tables in your corner, that could have been good just to bring out more color in the scene. But the most important component here, I would say, would be light. You used your villagers really well. You presented your avatar really well. You even gave her crystal earrings and a crystal bracelet, crystal necklace to match with this crystal expo. You have these hot air balloons in the back. So I think this definitely could have gotten 4K if you had the time to apply the changes we discussed. But I guess you did not have the time, unfortunately, which is just the way it is sometimes. But the good thing is you can take that advice and you can apply it to your future submissions. So before you build your scene, always be very mindful of the location of the sun. Again, it makes a tremendously big difference when you get that sun behind the camera. That's how these gold panels are going to look versus, here where they look dark brown and we don't get much of that reflective light quality. So sunset time of day, sun behind the camera, going to be super effective with a build like this. And again, if we look at, these snaps that are in the 4K range, that's exactly what they're doing. This snap has the sun behind the camera, sunset time of day. Sun behind the camera, sunset time of day. Indoor. Sun behind the camera. Sun behind the camera, sunset time of day. Very common, very common. You're going to see this a lot. Rank 8, same thing. Sun behind the camera, sunset time of day. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to do this to get 4K. You can get 4K with a night shot. You can get 4K with a midday shot. But a vast majority of the shots in the 4K range are using that lighting technique. So I would say if you're not consistently getting 4K, I would definitely try to, play that up. You've got rank 560 here. Very nice. Rachel, a.k.a. Bella here, ended up getting rank 61. Very good. Very good. Great presentation of the avatar. I'm really glad you ended up making the change with the Remy motif we talked about. Because I know originally you had the Remy motif on the ground back here, but you can't make the motif any smaller, so he looked really big. And I was like, if you put him on the table, he's going to look his normal size. Because I think originally you had something else here. Like, I think you had the bread here, and then you had something else here. But we talked about putting Remy right at the front on the table. Really glad you did that, because it looks fantastic. Great job with the fireworks. And you even have, like, technology on display, like the auto cooker and the vendor. And there's, like, a little tablet here. You're showcasing... we talked about this for food expos. As a chef, I went to a lot of food expos. And not only are you going to see food from different vendors, but you're going to see a lot of appliances, different things you can, utilize when it comes to preparing food. So the fact that you have Tiana over here showing off the oven and her slow cooker, the fact that you have Eve showing off the more technical or advanced, like, culinary items, and then you have all, this whole cooking station behind you, the cookbook. It's a very well-crafted snap. So well-deserved, well-deserved. We had a lot of people asking about, a cooking expo. And my advice on cooking expos, since I went to a lot of them, a big part of the advice was to really play up, these types of scenes. Hey, Wag, thank you for the 100 bits, my friend. Much appreciated. Also, if you guys are enjoying the content, consider helping us hit today's goal. I know we did finally break through 200, so if we do miss a goal today, we've set quite the record, but we do have a partial goal today, since the stream is going to be a little bit shorter. But if you enjoy the content, if you get good value out of the snap advice, and you find it entertaining, consider supporting. You can do so by typing !tip. You can type !donate. You can send bits. You can send super chats. All of these things help us hit our daily goals, and I would not be able to do what I do without you guys, so thank you. Cheyenne, thank you for the reset, my friend. And also, if we don't hit today's goal, guys, it's not the end of the world. We've had a hell of a run. We've been on an absolute tear. We've hit 201 goals in a row. We haven't missed a single one in 201 days. But if the streak ends today, it's not the end of the world. Lori, thank you for the 100 bits as well. And we got a little hype train coming in. Max, thank you for the bits as well. All right. Yeah, and we got to look at the premium shop here soon, too. Left Shark got rank 91. Well, I guess some of the, aquarium style builds did really well. This is great to see, but it really makes me think LOTR got super unlucky. Let's open this. Dang, thank you guys. Thank you. That's so kind of you. Oh my god, bro.
I always focus on the lighting and beauty aspect now, thanks to your tips. I'm on my 8th week of 4K.
Dang, congratulations!
Appreciate you so much.
Goal is done, guys. Oh my god, bro. Yeah, you guys can... We're oh my gosh. Kamile, thank you. That is my entire daily... That's over my entire daily goal there in one super chat. That is so kind of you. I'm really glad you've been getting great results. And
notice me, Senpai.
Yeah, lighting and beauty, very, very big. Dekai with the $10 dono as well.
Day.
Oh my god, bro. Okay. All right. Well, okay, you guys can stop now. You guys, the goal has been absolutely obliterated, like, into dust at this point. Thank you guys. That all happened so fast. Well, much appreciated, you guys. Much appreciated. And also, Kamile, thank you so much. That was a super generous dono there. I got to do some math real quick. Dekai, thank you, my friend. Thank you. There's the alert for it. I saw it in chat before I saw the alert.
Thanks for helping me get rank 12 this week.
Oh my god, have I seen your snap? Oh yeah, that's right. I did see it. I think I commented on it. Congratulations on rank 12. I don't think we've looked at it on the stream yet. Dude, a lot of you guys did really well. Only thing is I feel bad for LOTR because LOTR had a really good snap. I would say it was just as good as this. And it's too bad. We'll look at it in a second, but I would say out of all the snaps I've seen, LOTR snap is probably one of the ones that got some of the least satisfying results I've seen this week. And I actually care more about your results than I do about my own, don't get me wrong. I'm excited to check my mail and see how I did. I'm very happy with the rank I got this week. But, I love seeing you guys do well. I love seeing you guys carry on a streak. I love seeing you set new records. And I tend to get a little disappointed when I see a snap I think really deserved 4K, not receive 4K. I think if anything, LOTR just got really unlucky with their voter pool this week. Again, we'll look at it in a second. You guys will see what I mean. It was an indoor submission, kind of similar to this, but, very different results, sadly, very different. And thank you again, you guys. I cannot believe y'all just... I guess the streak lives on. And, yeah, you guys have officially almost doubled our goal for the day. So we went from, we were trucking along with the goal. I think we had like 300 bits on the board. Now we're at 7,764. You guys absolutely obliterated that. We also had a partial goal today because today's stream is a little bit shorter. So the goal is only 4,000. But, yeah, you guys didn't care about that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was really kind. We've officially now set another new record. Let's go! Another new record. 202 consecutive goals on this channel. That is absolutely incredible. But yeah, Left Shark, really happy to see you back in the top 100. You know, you make really good snaps, Left Shark. I love seeing your work. It's always very vibrant, very colorful. There's always a lot of charm. And I know when you first started participating in these reviews, after you'd sent me like, you know, maybe 2 months worth of snaps or a month worth of snaps, you mentioned your goal was to break into the top 100. And I was honestly really shocked because with how good your snaps are, I was pretty surprised you had not been in the top 100. But I know shortly after that, you did break into the top 100, and now you've been, you know, consistently breaking into the top 100. So really, really good job here. And again, this is also why, you know, I've been talking about the new villager toggle so much. There's amazing things you can do here when it comes to setting up your scenes and telling a story. The Ariel dream style paired with the Eric dream style just looks really good. I love the blue on the floor here. This looks fantastic. Also the blue on the ceiling, the net lights here, the bubbles, and, you know, really good job with the villagers here. But yeah, fantastic work. Really well done. Super happy to see you got a great rank. We're actually really close in rank this week, Left Shark. Really close. Let me find... You're very welcome, Left Shark. You're very welcome. You deserve all the good results. You deserve all the good results. Now, I do want to, before we look at too many more, I want to find LOTRs because I want to talk about LOTRs results here. I did comment on it. Hey, Dreamy Luna, thank you for the super chat, my friend. Again, you guys, y'all have already absolutely destroyed today's goal. So I do greatly appreciate it. You know, no need for any further love, but you're welcome to if you want. But just know, I really appreciate it. Thank you for knocking out yet another goal. Very kind of you guys. It really does mean the world to me. You know, I love making content. I love covering Dream Snaps. I love what I do, and none of it would be possible without you guys. So the fact that for the last 202 streams I've done consecutively, there hasn't been a single stream where we fell short of the daily goal, which makes up a big portion of like what allows me to continue doing this. So I just want you guys to know I really, really appreciate it. Eventually, though, you know, in a few years, I would love to have my YouTube channel at the point to where most of my income can be supplemented through ad revenue and stuff. And then I wouldn't even need to have a daily goal at all. And I can survive off of ad revenue alone. And if people want to tip or donate, then it wouldn't be something that, you know, I rely on as much. That's my ultimate goal as a creator, is to reach that point. Just because I don't ever want to be a burden. I don't want I never want anybody to feel like, you know, they absolutely have to tip or donate, you know. Now, I know every time I say that, people are like, you're not a burden. You know, I get that. I get that. I'm not saying I am. I'm just saying I don't want to be, you know. Like if, let's say the economy fell apart and like everything was, you know, turned to ash, I wouldn't want people feeling like, oh, well, I want to make sure Senpai can keep streaming, so I need to give him my last $5. You know, that's what I want to avoid. But I do appreciate it, guys. I do appreciate all the love. Like I said, I would not be able to do this without you. And I love what I do. I love covering snaps. I love playing games with you guys. I love making videos. And with my health the way it is, there's not a lot of things I can do. You know, I was working as a chef, but the clock was ticking on that. You know, with my nerve issues, I couldn't keep doing that for another 5 years. So I'm really lucky I was able to break out into content creation, because I'm not capable of, you know, a lot of physical labor or physical stuff. So being able to work from home and being able to pursue a career that I truly love and enjoy is such a blessing. It is such a blessing. And you guys are the ones that bestow that blessing upon me. So just know I really appreciate it. There's the guys. That's right. That's right. Yes. I did see this one. I dropped a lava react on it. I don't know if I commented on it yet. No, I did not. We got to find LOTRs as well. So for Dekai's, I really like the avatar presentation here. We discussed that when we did the review. And I think when we did the first review for Dekai's, I think there was a little bit less villagers. And I love the scene. I love the outfit. My only recommendation for this snap was to utilize a few more villagers and have them interacting with the environment. And Dekai did a really killer job with that. Like, Anna pointing up at the ride. Belle, like, inquisitively checking out the Scramblecoin pieces. Elsa over here interacting with Belle. Eric and Ariel thinking about getting some popcorn. And Mickey kind of co-hosting. Flynn checking out the statue. Not surprised at all that this did really well. It's a great expo scene. Absolutely beautiful. Lighting, again, is perfect. You know, look at that sunset time of day. Sun is behind the camera. Look at this. Look at the shadow going straight back. You know, everybody's shadows are going straight back. There's not really much shade on the build. So, superb lighting within the scene. Sunset time of day. Sun behind the camera. Really good villager utilization. Very, very strong.
On the 4K streak, thanks to your tips and tricks.
Albel, you're welcome, my friend. Thank you, thank you. Let's hope the 4K streak continues to thrive for many, many weeks, maybe many months, maybe even, dare I say, many years. Well done, my friend, well done. And thank you so much for the support. Really appreciate that, really appreciate that. Again, very big shout out here to Elbel, Dreamy Luna Elf, Left Shark, and Kamile. Thank you so much, you guys. Thank you so much. Really appreciate the love. Y'all are so, so kind. Thank you, thank you. And again, big shout out to everybody here on Twitch as well. Oh, and we got a new Twitch supporter here. Hanai Bun. Is it Hanai Bun? Is that how I say your name? Welcome to the supporter fam, my friend. As a supporter, you are more than welcome to participate in Snap Reviews if you would like. You don't have to. You can always support just for the sake of it. But as one of the benefits here, if you become a supporter, you can participate in Snap Reviews if you're interested. Just check out the Discord, type !Discord, and you're going to find a channel called How to Get Reviews. You click on that, it'll walk you through how to set everything up. Whether you're on a Prime sub, a gifted sub, a recurring sub, or a YouTube membership, all those work. Coloring with Jen and Hazel said, would you rather we watch on YouTube or Twitch? To be honest, Jen and Hazel, whatever works best for you, my friend. That's why I stream on both platforms. I don't have a preference. I typically have more people active on Twitch because I'm new to streaming on YouTube. I've only been streaming on YouTube for a handful of months. But by popular demand, I ended up streaming on YouTube. Because there's a lot of people that love using YouTube. They don't really use Twitch, but they wanted to watch the streams. So I kind of went out of my way to, you know, set everything up so I can go live on both platforms. That way, people that aren't interested in coming to Twitch, they can still watch, they can still enjoy, they can still get value out of the Snap Reviews, and they can participate. Because, you know, it's nice to be able to connect with the community. But as far as my personal preference, my preference is for you to be as comfortable as possible. So if you like watching on YouTube more, fantastic. If you are more comfortable with Twitch, that's great. And as far as where you choose to watch or support, it's always going to be, my position on that is always going to be whatever is best for you. Whatever is best for you is what I would encourage you to do. But thank you so much for asking. That's very kind of you, Jen and Hazel. But yeah. But yeah, really good job here. Now we need to find, I really want to find LOTRs, because like I said, LOTR had one of the snaps I feel this week that definitely deserve better. I commented on it. Maybe I'll have like a like or reply on that comment and I can find it that way. There we go. I found it. Okay. So this was LOTR submission. She also did an indoor Oceanic Expo. You know, we just saw Left Sharks, which was really good. Another indoor Oceanic Expo. I have seen a couple of the Oceanic Expos that fell short. And, you know, I think like 2,500 I could see happening with this, you know. I'd say, well, you know, maybe you popped up against some really good World Fair builds and it didn't work out. But I feel like 1,200 moonstones for a snap like this is really unfortunate. You know, things like this do happen, though. Dream snaps can be tricky. You have no control over what kind of voters you get, and you have no control over what kind of photo you're up against. I do find it very unfortunate that this did not rank better. Like I said, 2,600, I think, or sorry, 2,500 moonstones, I think would have been something I'd say, yeah, you know, I guess I can see that. But, or even 1,500, but 1,200 is really unfortunate here because we have great villager utilization. Like, every single one of these areas has villagers interacting with it. Like, Eric is kind of showing off this area. I love that Jack's thinking about it. We have this great scene back here with Goofy and Anna kind of checking out this zone. And then we have, you know, Ariel over here with Moana. And I love Mickey and Wally checking out this pearl. Stitch over here thinking about this lamp. And Olaf over here thinking about this display. Like, every display has an interaction built in. The avatar is well featured. The framing is very balanced. I've seen several snaps in the 4K range that aren't nearly this good. At least from my perspective, but I'm just one person. But I'm sure some of you guys would agree with that, right? And this is why I say when you have a snap underperform, never try to convince yourself that you did a bad job. Never try to, you know, say, well, I guess people hated my snap. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what the case. Let me give a quick rundown of how the algorithm itself works. We can't really control what we pop up against. But as you start accruing votes, as you start getting a lot of votes throughout the challenge, you'll start popping up against other good dream snaps. Now, if you don't get a lot of votes in the beginning, I think it can kind of have the opposite impact where you may not show up as much later in the challenge. So for some snaps each week, I have a suspicion that if you're unlucky enough to pop up against really good snaps at the very beginning of the challenge, and lose the early votes, it could potentially bury your snap. Because I feel like if more people saw this, it would have definitely got more votes. And there were definitely enough voters this week. It's not like the end of a current update. But, you know, it's just, it can be very unpredictable sometimes. I definitely think this deserved better. And like we saw, you know, with Left Sharks was really good. And it was also an Oceanic build, and it was top 100. So that's what I mean about, you know, the unpredictable nature of the voting phase. I mean, they're very different snaps, like Left Sharks versus LOTRs. They each have their own style and design, but this is still very good. This is still a very solid submission. So, you know, 2,500, I would say, yeah, you must have come across some pretty tough snaps. 1,500 maybe, but yeah, 1,200 is just really surprising for this. I think out of all the results I've seen this week, this might be the most surprising. But again, for all we know, every time this snap showed up, it was up against insanely good snaps. If you're super unlucky, you might just keep popping up against some of the best snaps out there. Just like if you were super lucky, you might do a really low effort snap and find yourself at rank 2. You know, let me provide a quick example of this real fast. If we look at, let me find one of my friends here. I always use this snap as an example when discussing this. We had a challenge a while back called Coziness Beyond the Stars, where we were making like a cozy kind of Star Wars build situation. And this is the rank 2 photo. This was rank 2. Now, It's not horrible. It's on theme. But, you know, there's not really much lighting. A lot of the space is empty. They have a Star Wars style outfit. They have the Padme dress. They have a lightsaber. And then they have the Naboo stuff. So this can get votes because it's on theme. But how does it get ranked 2? Well, you should never be surprised that a lower effort snap is in the top 2 or 3 because it's totally possible. Essentially, how this could end up in rank 2 is it just consistently pops up against weaker snaps. You know, they got very fortunate not to meet more difficult competition. But the complete opposite and reverse of this can happen, where a really solid snap can just keep popping up against insanely good snaps. And then you find yourself getting 1,200 moonstones for a snap that truly deserved 4K. And this is exactly why I'm such a picky voter. I don't think everybody should be. When it comes to voting, I think everybody should vote exactly how they want to, because it's your vote. Don't ever let anybody else tell you how to vote. But the reason I vote the way I do is because every week I usually see 1 or 2 snaps like this. Really, really strong snaps that I truly felt deserved a bit more love. So when I vote, I skip most of what I see. And I seek out snaps like this, and I vote only for them. Again, not saying everybody should do that, because I understand everybody deserves a vote if they put in effort. But luckily for most of these people, that's how most people vote. Most people will, you know, just be there for their quick 50 moonstones, and as long as you do the theme, they'll vote for you. For me, I try to seek out snaps like this because I just really want people that, you know, have a great concept and put in time and effort, get results they deserve. Now, I did reply to this because, you know, they were saying they were pretty bummed, and they wanted me to discuss the snap on stream. So in my reply, I just said there's a few reasons this could have underperformed. We'll know a bit more once I review more results. Unfortunately, there were several people who were confused by this week's theme and what they were supposed to create. This can often translate in the voting phase. In other words, hi buddy, if you get voters that may not understand the theme, like maybe the voters that saw this snap didn't know about the expo side of it and just thought it was just Journey into Imagination and that you should have the Imagination banner or like space or something or technology. You know, who knows? We don't really know the mindset of the voters that see a particular snap. We can gauge based off of results how most voters felt, but we can't know how everybody felt, if that makes sense. Secondly, I said it's possible the voters you received didn't resonate with the concept behind the snap. I love your concept, but I can't speak for everybody. Perhaps some saw this more as an aquarium than an expo. You know, even though we saw Left Shark with the top 100 oceanic aquarium style expo, Left Shark likely got voters that really resonated with the idea, whereas it's totally possible LOTR did not. So that's that unpredictable nature behind the voting phase. I said, well, we'll have to look at a few more Oceanic Expos to really know how they were received in mass. Lastly, I did mention during the review streams and snap discussions that I felt outdoors would be a bit safer of an option this week, with the theme calling for a universal expo that would be defined as a world fair. These large-scale events highlight industry, technology, art, culture, and more. Choosing outdoors did allow for more space, and it allowed for the ability to highlight architecture, include far more villagers. Keep in mind there will be weeks where you may receive very picky voters who are very particular about the theme and everything in it. This is why I often go out of my way to create scenes that go above and beyond with everything the theme mentions or insinuates, and why I was big on highlighting architecture this week. That said, there will be plenty of indoor snaps in the 4K range. Some players will be more fortunate with their voting pool. Sadly, it appears that was not the case here. Again, I love your snap. It was one of my favorite indoor builds, but unfortunately, I'm just one person and I can't speak for a majority of the voters. You should be proud of your snap. Voters choosing your competition doesn't mean your snap was bad. it just means it didn't resonate with them as much as the opposing options did. So yeah, pretty much all the comments here are just kind of surprised that this snap got 1,200, because I truly do believe this, like I said, the most surprising result I've seen this week. I think it was one of the more deserving snaps. But yeah, like I stated, voting can be very unpredictable. And that's why for my example scenes for this week, I did mention you can totally do indoors. I mean, there's some top 100 submissions that are indoors. But I do think it also came with a little bit of risk. Now, whether that risk pays off or not, it just depends on your voters. But I love doing indoor builds. I've never missed out on 4K with an indoor build. But the reason I highlighted outdoor builds mostly for, this particular theme was because of that Universal Expo portion of the theme. And if you look up a Universal Expo with it being a world fair, you're going to see a lot of amazing architecture and stuff. And I think that's why so many snaps in the 4K range this week. Like if we look through the results we've seen on Facebook, so many of the snaps in that 4K range this week are these elaborate outdoor builds with, that kind of world fair feel with, a lot of architecture. Like in ours, we have the Big Ben clocks and the Main Street Emporium. We have like the telescope house and or the observatory and like castle over here. But you see that in a lot of these snaps. But yeah, it is very unfortunate that LOTRs did not get better. It deserved better. I'll say that. It definitely deserved far more than the rank it got. Okay, let's keep looking through some of these. We do have a lot more snaps to check out. We gotta catch back up with where we were. Yeah, we were on Left Sharks here. And then after we checked out Left Sharks, we wanted to move on. But yeah, Left Shark also did Oceanic Expo. So, there were definitely voters out there that enjoyed this concept. Taylor here got rank 1,643. Very nice. Thanks for the tips and tricks. I've been using them, finding it helpful. Finding my way into the 4K club. Very nice. Well, good job here. Inauguration ribbons. Good outfit. Very good host for the expo. Lots of architecture on display. Very cool. Very cool. Another night shot in the 4K range. I actually think we already looked at that one. Oh, dang, Sierra got ranked 19. Let's go. I'm glad you ended up sticking with the one here. Oh, no, you did actually make all the changes in the end. Dang. Well, you deserve rank 19. You actually worked really hard on this, Sierra. Because I know in your original snap, you had Mickey and Wally set up here looking at the gyms, which I thought was really good. We had an open space back here, and I was like, oh, you can have Cruella showing off her car. That could be cool. So then for your re-review, you added Cruella and her car, but then we weren't able to get Wally here. So when I did your re-review, I was like, because I think Wally was in his house or in the shop or something, and I was like, oh, you can use a villager summoning item, and that way you can bring Wally back because he was super cute here. I didn't know if you were going to have time to do it because it was Tuesday, but you did. You did it. So you incorporated the original advice we proposed, and then you even went back and made another change just to bring back what was really good about the first snap, which is the presence of Wally and Mickey here. Really glad to see this got ranked 19. It's a beautiful build. And like I said, the highlighting of Wally and Mickey here is super, super cute. I just love it. The outfit's also so fun. I think the outfit definitely helped this snap perform very well. There's a lot of expo host we've seen, but your fit is formal, it's invitive, and it's super imaginative and unique, which plays really well with the title this week. So happy to see you got in the top 20 with this. Absolutely amazing job, Sierra. Well done. Sarah ended up getting 4K here. I think we looked at this one already. We checked that one out near the beginning. Laura said, I did a sci-fi expo area, got 1,500 moonstones for it. Well, the sci-fi expo area is actually pretty good. The outfit's pretty good. I definitely think this could have done better if maybe we had some kind of sci-fi flooring here instead. There's the arcade rugs. That worked really good with sci-fi builds this week. But the leaf-strewn path combined with the snow... There's also well skins that you can add. That would be a bit more technical. But yeah, with the items you're using, I think this you could have definitely gotten a higher rank here. I think bringing in a few more villagers to check out your expo. Now that we have the villager toggle, that's like easier to do than ever. And then potentially choosing like a ground or texture or environment that works really good for the techie kind of expo you have here. But congrats on the 1,500. You know, that's still good. Another tech expo here. Got 4K. Not sure of the rank. Oh, Kendra's got 2,500. Dang, Kendra, you were so close to 4K, though. You got rank 8,470. So if you had ranked just a tiny bit higher, you would have been 4K. So you should still be proud of this. This is still very good. I think you did a great job with the scene. You know, one thing we saw with a lot of outdoor expos is they did most of them did bring in a bit more architecture. You have some great buildings here. And I love the giant statue in the back, too. I think that's really fun. But yeah, very close to 4K. The other thing, I did talk about this a lot during the reviews, was it seems the very popular thing to do with the avatar this week was present them in a very formal way. Now, I know you're kind of dressed more as a gardener because that's the kind of expo you have. You have, like, fruits here. We have, like, some of the, you know, veggies on display here. We have the pumpkins with the auto gardener and, like, Tiana and Pocahontas talking about it. But with a lot of these snaps, for the tech expos, you know, they're dressed very techy, of course. But for a lot of the outdoor expos, you know, that performed very well, the host appears very formal. And you kind of see the same thing happen here with, I believe it was Jedi's. Jedi had a really good snap. I think, you know, I think it deserved more than 1,500. Because, you know, we have all this unique technology on display. We have all these villagers present. We even have this Imagination Land thing here. So this even plays up the title really well. We have hot air balloons. This has a really good World Fair kind of feel to it. My only guess as to why it got 1,500 is it does seem that the more formal avatars that are hosting the event seem to perform better with voters, whereas the avatar here is more of a mechanic because we have the tools and the parts, which is really unique storytelling. But I did mention when I did this review that I felt like this was a bit risky for the avatar pose, just because, you know, most of what we see are these hosting poses where the avatar is kind of presenting the showcase, because that's what the theme mentioned. It said, you know, your valley has been chosen to host the Universal Exhibition. Show your valley to the world. So our job was to show it. So, you know, you'll see a lot. This person got their first top 1,000 here. Hey, thank you, Lavender. Thank you. I ranked 15 and posted on the Facebook post. Appreciate all the help you give us. Congratulations, my friend. Dang, we got a lot of people in the top 100 this week. That's actually cool. I mean, if you think about it, there's not that much room in the top 100, right? The top 100 is only 100 people. And we have a friend with rank 8, rank 90, rank 15, I think rank 12. I think I saw a rank 60. Left Shark with the rank 90. I mean, we're a small portion of the Dreamlight Valley community, and the fact that so many of us are in that top 100 range is really cool to see. You guys are all super talented. Eve here got rank 560. Yeah, good expo, good formal avatar. Also, I hate this grass glitch. This isn't your fault. you get this grass clipping through your path. I know this is all paved, but this grass comes through. If you're ever dealing with this, guys, all you need to do, if you're using an item that pushes the camera up, move it back 1 or 2 spaces, and the grass will start clipping through. You might have to add more to your foreground if you do that, but yeah, I hate this bug. It's been in the game for so long, and I just want it to go away. This bug kills me. But I never judge people based on the bug, because it's something a lot of people don't know how to fix. Rachel, Bella got rank 61. Yeah, that was another one in the top 100 for the Cooking Expo here. Ox, thank you for the 100 bits, my friend. Very kind of you, very kind of you. Dude, you guys are absolutely annihilating the goal. You know, again, feel free to save your support for tomorrow for the next goal, you guys. You guys have doubled today's goal. I greatly appreciate it. And thank you for all the support. Yeah, I think we saw this one already. Oh, yeah, we got sent way back up. Oh, yeah, Emma ended up with the Woodworking Expo. Emma did end up getting 4K. Not only that, they did end up raking in the top 1,000. I definitely think the pose and the hat really helped here. And adding the villagers and having them interact with the environment, I think also really helped with the scene. Also adding the signs was a good call. I'm glad this ended up doing well. Caroline, another 4K, 8-week streak. Very nice, Caroline, very nice. Yeah, oh, I remember reviewing this one, yes. Yeah, it looks like you got the lighting down really well. Lots of items on display, good villagers in the foreground, great outfit, you know, really good presentation for the avatar as well. This pose was very popular this week. Creeping! Hey, Senpai, I got 4K, rank 13, 18, let's go. Oh, congrats, my friend, congrats. Wonderful to see. Wednesdays are so fun. I love seeing all the results. Yeah, good job, Creeping, and thank you for the love. Yeah, Kay Jones here ended up with rank 14. I remember this one too. Wasn't this the one where we had a little bit of a gap on the left side? And we talked about bringing some buildings over here? I think it might have been this one. Or maybe it was another one. But yeah, I do remember reviewing this. Very good job. Another top 100 submission. Like I said, we have a lot of people here this week in the top 100. I was just around the top 100. And yeah, we have Sadness, Vanellope, a really good villager display. This is also what I'm talking about when I keep encouraging people to really make good use of that new villager toggle. You can see it here for yourself. You know, there's a lot of snaps in the top 100 that are just doing a fantastic job with that toggle. Now, if you're new here and you're curious about how to get this many villagers, because like maybe you're like, well, when I summon villagers to the floating island, I just can't get the ones I want. I've covered this quite a bit, but there is a way to guarantee you always have the villagers you want to use. And we've covered this very consistently here over the past couple of weeks with the new villager toggle, but I like to repeat it because I want everybody to know what I know. I want everybody to be on the same footing, same playing field. It makes Dreamsnaps more fair, and it also makes it more fun. Like when you can, you know, really create whatever you want to create and use whoever you want to use, it just makes the whole process a lot more enjoyable. So the fun thing here is with the new villager toggle, you'll be able to put the villagers wherever you want, but sometimes multiple villagers you may want to use are in the Scrooge shop or they're in Chez Remy and you can't get them. So what we can do is we can drop a villager summoning item. Now, these items are very easy to get. Most of them are not premium items. Most of them are actually friendship quest rewards, like the Fox and Raccoon sculpture you get from progressing with Lumiere. The Election Victory Party, I think, might be Daisy or Aurora. The Frozen Hot Cocoa counter is Cogsworth. Joy and Sadness fireworks are from Joy. Sadness's pillows from Sadness. The Valley Pirate Treasure is from Peter Pan. The Nonsense Banquet is from Cheshire Cat. The Unbirthday Cake is from Alice. All of these items summon villagers. And if you drop a villager summoning item and you surround it with a fence, you can just interact with it over and over and just keep summoning villagers. It doesn't matter if they're inside. It doesn't matter if they're in the Scrooge shop. Now, to get everybody you want to use, it can take a while because it's random who it brings in. But what I found is when I do this for about 5 minutes or so, like if I sit here for 5 minutes and just keep doing this, I'll typically have almost every villager in the game. And if you're looking for specific villagers for your Dreamsnap, all you got to do is open your camera and look through the toggle, and you'll be able to see exactly who you have here. So let's say we have Buzz and Woody, but we also want Stitch. Well, we'll just keep summoning until we also have Stitch here. But this is a really, really useful strategy, especially with this new villager toggle. And the reason we keep the villagers trapped in here is because otherwise they would all walk into your snap, they would all photobomb, and, you know, you would have to toggle all of them off, which can be really time-consuming. So instead of toggling all of them off, we trap them inside of this fenced-in space. That way, we can now simply use the toggle, the new villager toggle, to summon whoever we want to use. So, you know, now we can just choose and place the villagers we want and ignore the ones we don't want. And this will allow you to do some storytelling. You can have villagers interacting with the environment. Just a very, very fun and useful way. But I just want everybody to know this. I want everybody... And by the way, this also works indoors. So if you're in an indoor build, you can summon a bunch of villagers inside of your house. So yeah, if you've ever wondered how people are getting a lot of villagers in their house, that's how. Toom said, oh, is there a new toggle? Yeah, with the toggle, it came out... a little while ago, but with this toggle, with this villager toggle, you can place the villagers wherever you want, and you can also customize their expression. You can have them have discussions, you can have them do a happy dance, you can have them celebrate, you can have them laughing, you can have them confused. It's good if you want them thinking about something, or, you know, checking something out. You can make them sad, angry. Yeah, there's so many different ways to use them. How do you activate the objects on a PC? Oh, the villager summoning items, Rogue? I got you. I'm actually on PC right now. I'm just playing on my Xbox controller. So let me check. First off, you need to have your camera equipped. So make sure your camera is equipped when you're interacting with the villager summoning item. And then once you approach the item with your camera in hand, it's right-click. So it says right-click to gather villagers. So if I right-click here, and by the way, just a little side tip for you, Rogue, when you have a bunch of villagers around, they'll kind of get in the way. See, now it doesn't say right-click to gather, it says right-click for photo. So if I right-click now, it just goes into selfie mode. So look at the bottom left side of your screen with your phone in your hand, and it'll tell you what button to press. So if it says photo, then villagers are too close and it's not registering the item. When it says gather villagers, that's when you can right-click and summon them. My recommendation is if it keeps on saying photo instead of gather, all you have to do is take this item and just kind of move it away from the villagers a little bit. You can just take it back here. Because as you summon villagers, they're going to crowd it, and it's going to get harder to summon them. But yeah, you can just move it to the side, and that'll help. That saves me so much time compared to before. I took a break from the game, so it's nice to see some changes. Oh, yeah, Toom. The new toggle is fantastic. Dream snaps are so much easier now. It saves so much time. Okay, all of my items must be glitched. What items? And what do you mean by glitched? What do you mean? I haven't ever heard of people's villager summoning items not working. But I wouldn't think they're all glitched. I mean, I play on PC as well, and I've never had an issue with them not working. So if they're not working for some reason, my recommendation would be restart your game. That fixes a lot of the bugs. I had trouble with my decorating disappearing. I was trying to summon small childlike character history, and the game was like, oh, here's Solar Beast, Maui, and some villains. Yeah, dude. for my snap, I did finish my snap last night, by the way, and I was up until 3 a.m. I was up very late because I ended up responding to a lot of DMs because, you know, we had a few people miss the deadline. No, none work. That's why I asked you how to do it. Rogue. Yeah, I've never heard of that happening. Again, your camera has to be equipped. It has to be in your hand. So if it's not working, then I would make sure your camera is equipped. Make sure the item you're using is a villager summoning item. And then the other thing is you just want to... You see right here where it says gather villagers? So now it says photo, so it won't gather. It'll just go into selfie mode. Now when I'm close to the pillow, it switches to gather. And on mouse and keyboard, same thing. So right-click is photo. Now right-click is gather. Yeah, I have a ton of friends that play on PC, and I've never heard of the villager summoning items just like not working at all. I mean, you know, if you can... What I would recommend doing, if you restart your game and it's just not working, take a screenshot on your PC. You can use print screen on your keyboard. And you can just take a screenshot just like that. And show, in the screenshot, show that you have your phone in your hand. And show that you're right up against the item with no villagers around. And show that it doesn't say gather villagers. And then send that to Gameloft support. And I would love to see it too. You know, I would love to see it as well. Because a lot of the times, when it comes to issues like this, sometimes people really do have a bug, but sometimes it's user error and people are doing something different. So when it comes to different bugs, I usually like to see pictures of them. I would love to see a picture of yours where, you know, we see the phone in the hand, we see the item highlighted. See, now it's not going to let me summon villagers, but when I get right up on it, it says gather villagers. So as soon as we highlight the item, gather villagers becomes the option. But again, the phone has to be in your hand, and you have to be right up on top of the item highlighting it. So, you know, if it's not highlighting the item and you're this close to it, then yeah, your game is definitely bugged, and I would send that to Gameloft. There's a ton of different villager summoning items you can try. You know, unless you've tried them all and none of them work, which, again, I've never heard of that. Usually when there's a bug, it's something a lot of people run into. But yeah, I would send a picture of that to Gameloft. And again, if you want to send it to me on Discord, I would love to see it as well, because maybe I can help you figure out why it's not working. You know, it would be a picture of you with your phone in hand, with the item right up on top of you, and with the button, you know, either saying gather villagers or not saying gather villagers for whatever reason. Because it could, you know, if you send a photo, it could have something to do with an item you have close by. It could have to do with villagers around. There's a lot of different reasons. So if you were able to send me a photo of it, you know, maybe we can confirm it's a bug, or maybe we can confirm how to fix it. It shows gather villagers, but the right click doesn't work? So it says gather villagers, but when you press right click, it doesn't do anything. What about when you press right click normally? Will it go into photo mode like this? So when you right click on it, it just won't summon. And you've tried restarting as well? If that's the case, my recommendation would be maybe trying a controller if you have access to any kind of controller. Maybe try it on I don't know if you have an Xbox controller or a Pro controller or anything like that, but maybe trying it on controller, maybe for some reason it's just not registering that right click. That could be it. It would be the same button that goes into selfie mode. So that right click should do it. But if it's saying gather villagers and it's highlighted and it's still not gathering, could be an input issue. That's why I think, if you have access to a controller, it might be a good idea to test it with a controller. So, Laura, that's why I was saying to open selfie mode with right click, because it's the same button, even if your buttons are different. That's why I was asking, does right click open your camera? Like, if you're running around on your mouse and keyboard, if you right click, will it open your camera? Because if right click isn't opening the camera, it could be an input issue. But I would definitely try it with a controller, see if that can help. But yeah, I would try to fix it one way or another because, again, very, very, very useful tool for Dreamsnaps. It's going to allow you to always use the villagers you want to use. And you're going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage if we can't get it working. So I would definitely try. Worst comes to worst, if we can't figure it out, if there's like no solution, I highly recommend reaching out to Gameloft about it. Sometimes they can take a while to get back to you, especially if we are, in the midst of like a really big update, because there's usually a bunch of new bugs and a bunch of new things getting reported, which can be kind of a headache. So now that we're a few weeks after the update, they might be able to get back to you. It doesn't open when I right click. Oh, the camera doesn't. So if you right click with the camera, it's also not, even when we're not using the villager summoning item, that sounds like an input issue. So if you have your camera in your hand and you right click and the camera's not opening, and make sure, because I don't know if any controller settings have been adjusted, but make sure whatever it says here, for photo, for me, it's highlighting right click. Make sure it's the same for you. If it's not, maybe there's a different input for you for whatever reason. So just double check that. And then aside from that, if your camera is not opening in selfie mode when you right click, even away from the item, then it definitely seems like it might be an input issue. So potentially a different mouse. Maybe there's an issue with the mouse communicating with the game for whatever reason. If you have access to a controller, I would definitely try that. Or you can get a different mouse. No, Figaro, they're on PC. They're on PC. But yeah, I'd love to help you figure it out one way or another. Because like I said, without that, I do think you'll be at a minor disadvantage, with the current Dreamsnaps meta, with how popular it is to utilize villagers, with us seeing that so much, having access to that is going to be super helpful, because you'll be able to use the exact villagers you want. So hopefully we can figure it out. Willow, yeah, you mentioned you put a ticket in on June 23rd, and you haven't heard back yet. I would just send another ticket. Like, if they don't get back to you, I would definitely, if it's a big issue, like your floating island issue that you've been running into, I would bug them. I would send them a ticket once a week until I heard something. Because sometimes tickets just get lost. It'll happen. So if you send a ticket in and you don't hear anything, it's a good idea just to resend it, especially when a game you paid for is not working as designed or intended. You have every right to submit tickets until that issue is resolved. Rogueson, I'll play with you again until I can figure it out. Sending a picture on Discord. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, hopefully we can help you figure it out. Taylor says, wait, how do you take pictures if that's not the button? Yeah, I'm curious about that too. Like, if right click isn't opening the camera, definitely sounds like, the right click could be disabled on the mouse for whatever reason. Maybe it's not communicating with the game. But if right click is not opening the camera, I'm not sure how you would take any photos, let alone summon villagers. Can be very tricky. All right. Well, we only... Oh my god, it's 8 minutes till 5. I only got a little bit of time left. I guess we're not going to be making an example build, but let's look at the premium shop stuff, you guys. I'm pretty excited to check this stuff out. Oh, these are cool. Oh my god, they can layer right on top of each other. Wait, does that mean they can layer on top of other water decor? No, they can't. Okay, okay. That would have been too good to be true, I think. I mean, I can put other water decor right around them. Okay. I was going to see if I can have, like, water shooting. But they can get right on top of each other, though, which is pretty neat. So we got these new water fountains. This is cool. This is going to be super cool, like, off the beach and off the shores. Love this new item. One thing I'm always really excited to get in this game is new water decor. And then we have this straight-up vertical one. Oh, now this one might not be able to go on top of the other one. Okay, I see, I see. But these two could. Oh, no, it can't. It's just slightly... The box is in a weird place. It's over here to the right. But I could put it, like, right here. And you can even, like, double up. We need to check Screwshop to see how much these cost. Dang, these are cool. You can make some really fun designs with this. Yeah, check that out, dude. That looks awesome. All right, let's check out the smoke bombs. Oh my god, these are going to have really good Dreamsnap utility. Oh, they can also go in the water? No way. Sick. Dude, they've been giving us... Oh, dramatic smoke bomb. What's dramatic about it? That's cool. Yeah, if you don't have the moonstones for these, I would definitely pin them. This is going to be super useful for Dream Snaps. Like, super useful. If anything, I would say the smoke bombs are probably... Oh my god, they actually look just like fog at night. Dude, you can make a spooky forest. No way. We gotta play with this a little bit. I want to make a spooky forest. This is gonna be sick for Halloween, bro. The wheels are already turning in my mind. They're already turning. This is awesome. Wow, they can really get up on trees and stuff, too. These are also really nice background filler. Dude. Dree said, I went a little overboard in the shop this week. Me too. I'm not going to lie. I bought literally everything. I bought literally everything. They changed color as well? Dang. We'll have to check that out. Wait, they were foggy a minute ago. They turned like gray at night. Now they look colorful at night. Yeah, there we go with the moon setting. Dude, that's going to be really cool. All right, so they changed color. Oh my god, this might be the best item in the shop this week. Wow, dude, they are really giving us some cool stuff. I'm going to use these this week in my snap for sure. Dang, dude, there's so many colors. This might be like one of the best premium items we've... Oh, and red? Dude, that's a lot. That's more like a reddish yellow. Probably goes back to the base color after this. Yeah, it's like a spectrum. Actually, this one's more pink. Or this one is more purple, and this one's more pink. I think if I hit it again, it'll go back to purple. Wow, dude. How much were these again? $12.50? That's it? I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you have to pick one thing in the shop this week out of the new stuff, it's got to be the Smoke Bomb set. $12.50, and the Dreamsnaps utility for this are... The Dreamsnap utility for this is really, really good. I think the Dreamsnap utility for this is far better than the jets, far better than the outfit, far better than the wings. I do love the outfit. I usually pass on outfits, but I think this is a really unique and really cool fit. And also, I don't think we've ever had wings that level up before, so I was curious about these, so I got them. I do like the way the wings look. But for me, I can't really tell the difference when I check them here. Maybe they're a little bit less gold? Oh, yeah, they're a little bit less gold. So, leveled all the way up, they get really gold. Okay. Okay. Yeah, you can see it here. I'm dumb. So, on the first one, a lot of gray, a little bit of gold in the center. On this one, a lot of gold on the right, a little bit of darkness on the left. On this one, deep gold on both. We also have some other really good returning items, too. I've seen a lot of people in my chat say they wish they had picked up these memory orbs, because these are really pretty. These are a really good decor item. They're super useful for Inside Out, or space, or sci-fi, or magic. These have a ton of uses. Unfortunately, the whole set is $17.50, and I hate the well. If you're a big fan of Inside Out, maybe you'll really like the well. It could be good in Dreamsnaps if you want like a futuristic or sci-fi looking well. So it's cool that you get the well, but I would much rather just this be the orbs for like 1,000 or 800, because I don't care about the well. But worth getting just for these orbs. We also have one of my favorite star pads back in the shop this week. One of my favorite star pads ever. The Night Show Special Effects box. If you're unaware of this water curtain, it changes color as well. This is going to be really good for this week. These fireworks are also really nice because they're more colorful than the standard. Not as colorful as the Mushu fireworks, but also very easy to control because of the way they arch out. So these fireworks are super useful. And the pyro boxes, I've always been a big fan of these. I love using the pyro boxes for lava or magma builds. I put them all over the place. I've had a lot of snaps that use this. I think I have another one. Yeah, for my Timble raid for Treasure Hunt Extravaganza. For some reason, they were glitching here. They're like super pixelated, but it still worked out. But I love these pyro boxes for like dangerous or like lava or things like that. They're just super, super fun. So another really fantastic thing in the shop if you did happen to miss the Night Show StarPath. Aside from that, the Rainbow Phoenix wings are back. These are really good for this week. They're very colorful. The challenge we have this week actually kind of reminds me of another challenge we had a while back. We had a challenge called Decorate with Pride, and it was all about embracing the colors of the rainbows. So, you know, some of these things are going to be really useful this week, like the Pride sweater, the Phoenix wings, multicolored trees. You know, I did the colors of the rainbow here, so like purple, blue, green, like a lighter green, yellow, orange, red. And we did the same thing on the other side. We did the same thing with gems. We did the same thing with flowers. We used the night show floor tiles, the rainbow fox. A lot of stuff we're seeing here. Hey, thank you for the raid, my friend. We got Skeletor coming in with 24 companions. Welcome in, you guys. Welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid. But yeah, a lot of the stuff we see here I think is going to be very useful for this week as well. So if you're looking to make a very colorful snap, you know, things like the rainbow fox, the dance tiles, some of these outfit options, some of these trees, like multicolored trees in the backdrop, and even the ancient lights, like we're doing a rainbow pattern with the ancient lights. We have all the different pride balloons. There's different colored flowers on the sides. So you don't have to do a scene like this week. I'm just saying there's a lot of really good ways to make your festival of color extremely colorful. But yeah, companions like the rainbow fox I think will be very good. Companions like the little rainbow phoenix here, and even the pirate parrot, also very colorful. So yeah, these wings I think very good for this week. Oh, we also have stuff coming back from one of my favorite STARPATHs. Stone lanterns. I got those all over my valley. Yeah, it looks like they're just putting a lot of very colorful stuff in the shop this week. Also love this fox backpack. If you don't have this, I featured it a few times. If you ever do like a behind the back shot of your avatar, this little fox backpack is awesome. I think I used it for Serene Village vibes. Let me see if I can find that old snap. There it is. I just passed it. Yeah, for Serene Village vibes, we did this shot of the avatar. Nice, cozy little outfit, little fox face. You know, he's so cute. It's such a cute backpack. Probably one of my favorite backpacks in the game, to be honest. Yeah, they cooked with the shop lineup this week. It's really solid. Bermuda Merlin is back, 10% off. The Island-inspired ensemble, which actually has this really unique animation for the headpiece, which is pretty fun. And it also has this very colorful top piece, and there's a lot of different scuba outfits. You know, very cool, very cool. And yeah, you can do the snorkel mask over your eyes, or you can do it over top your head, and either way, it adds bubbles to the character, which is pretty neat. So, two very good items here. But yeah, lots of good stuff in the shop this week, you guys. Lots of really good stuff. You know, when we look at what's in here, I'd say most valuable thing by far would be this dramatic smoke bomb if you're into dream snaps. This item is going to, I think, be one of the most impactful dream snap. I think it's on par with like the Aurora, and it's on par with things like fireworks. It's just going to be super useful for different effects. The fact that it changes colors, the fact that you can use it in a spooky snap or a colorful snap, the fact that you can use it as background filler, you know, instead of using lights behind your build, now you can just put these clouds behind your build to seal off your snap. Extremely high levels of dream snap utility for this item. The new outfit, I say, it's nice, but it's very expensive if you want the full set. I mean, you're talking almost 4,000 moonstones. So I think the fountain jets and the smoke bomb are way more important here, because we already have tons of good outfits in the game. You don't necessarily need this one, especially for this week. You can use it because it's new and it's fun, but there's definitely outfits out there that are going to be more colorful, I think. But yeah, man, they really cooked this week with the shop. It's awesome. Got some really good stuff. The Fox backpack definitely stole some stones from me. Yeah, it's super cute. I don't blame you. I don't blame you for forking out the stones for it. Skeletor says, love the shop this week. Yeah, it's really solid. It's really solid. It's been a long time, I think, since I wanted everything in the shop. And this week was one of those weeks. I think last week I passed on like an outfit. I didn't get that. You know, I'm not a huge fan of the new Little Bo Peep outfit. You know, wasn't really my style. Usually I always buy an outfit if it's got a new hairstyle, but yeah, I ended up passing on that one. I got the new Toy Shop House. But yeah, I think we've looked at all the new stuff here. Rogue says, real quick, it works with my Xbox controller. You see my Dream Snaps. Thank you again. Greatly appreciate it. Somebody's definitely a lifesaver. Nice. Let's go. I'm glad it ended up working for you, Rogue. I'm glad we were able to figure it out. That's great to hear. Because like I said, you know, having access, the hair looks fake. Yeah, well, I was talking about that with the Little Bo Peep outfit. It's made to make you look like a toy or a doll. So that was intentional. The hair doesn't have natural hair texture. It's like plastic. So I actually almost bought it just for that because, you know, when you think about it with like the... Oh, didn't they say we're getting new items each week in these chests? I guess maybe they just meant decor. Oh, well. Oh, well. But yeah, the hair was designed to look like plastic to give you like a doll-like look. And we actually don't have anything like that in the game, so I kind of thought about getting it, but I don't know. I just didn't like it too much. Scrooge Shop has new things. Oh, does he? Well, before we log off, we better go check. See what we got there. Yeah, after I run my errands this evening, that's why I ended up streaming earlier, and I'm gonna be off stream earlier today. I'm gonna work on my example builds tonight when I get back home. I'm trying to get some builds out for tomorrow's video. But I really like this theme. I love making colorful snaps. So I'm pretty excited to make some. Oh, there it is. Firework waistcoat? Dude, that's awesome. That looks good. Well, thanks for reminding me to check the shop. I probably would have missed out on that. Dude, if they add new stuff to the shop like every week from now on, that's going to be... It just makes Wednesdays more exciting. There's a new ribbon and top. A new ribbon? I might need to check my other shops then. Wait, is it like a outfit ribbon? Or is it like a decor ribbon? Yeah, let me check my other shops real quick before we hop off. Oh, decor? Okay. Yeah, we'll check all the shops real quick. It's like the Tiana one? Oh, a new color for the inauguration ribbon? No way. That's cool. Because that's a super useful item. We're going to go to my jungle store. I'm going to be sad if it's not here. Scrooge better not let me down. Okay, not here. We'll check Storybook Vale, and we'll check Wish Blossom Ranch. If not, I'll try it tomorrow. You said he got in the Vale. Fingers crossed that I do too. We're going to try. We're going to try. Fingers crossed. But still not the chosen fence in Storybook Vale? Well, at least now, Aria, we do have the Vault Red Chests. So, you know, those are supposed to guarantee something new. Though there is a bug in the game. I don't know if they patch this. But if you sell all of an item you have, the game will think you haven't unlocked it, and you can end up getting that item from a red chest. So be very careful. What I would recommend before you open your vault rewards, I would recommend going to your Scrooge shop and making sure you haven't sold every version of an item. Now, if it's placed, you're fine. Oh, no, I don't have it. Okay, Wish Blossom Ranch is my final hope, you guys. Is my final hope. If not, maybe I'll get it tomorrow. Scrooge, I think he doesn't like me. I don't know. I think he's got beef with me for whatever reason. Yeah, because a lot of you guys said you got it in your Vale shop. All right, Wish Blossom Ranch, my final hope here. Final hope. Wish me luck, you guys. Hi, buddy. Hi, good boy. Horty's here. Look at this good boy. Hi, buddy. Hi, little buddy. Him's just napping. He's going to be sad when I finish my stream and then have to leave. There's a new inauguration ribbon. They've been adding new stuff to the shop every Wednesday. Like I just got a new outfit piece. Now I'm looking for the new decor. No! Why did all of you guys get it and I didn't get it? I hate Scrooge. Oh well. I'm glad you guys got it. Congratulations, everybody. How nice it must be to have that beautiful new ribbon. Well, I actually own every Scrooge item, so I think all I have to do is open a new vault reward and I'll get it. So, you know, I didn't get it either. Tim said maybe tomorrow. Maybe, but, you know, Scrooge hates me. Like, Scrooge really hates me. No justice for Senpai, no new ribbon. I know I didn't get it either, says Amanda. Well, we're just part of the we got beef with Scrooge club then. I guess Scrooge doesn't like you. Yeah, I guess not. I guess not. It's fine. It's fine. I think he's just withholding it because I've unlocked all the rest of his items. So I'll probably just get it from the vault rewards. I'm actually like 2 or 3 weeks behind my routine duties, so I might knock those out tonight before I make my Dreamsnap example scenes. I'm having roasted duck in his honor. That is hilarious. Delicious Scrooge. All right, you guys. Well, that's going to be it for today. So, I'm going to skedaddle. I do appreciate you guys hanging out. Like I said, sorry the stream was a little shorter today. Shroomy Queen said, I think I came with a Skelly Raid. Hi. Hello, Shroomy. Hello. Welcome, my friend. For those of you that are new here before I go, if you've never caught my content before, just so you know what we do here, the main thing I cover is Dreamsnaps. I'm a very, very big advocate for Dreamsnaps. I do a lot with snaps. It's kind of my whole thing. We have a new group on Facebook if you would like to join. It's called the Dreamsnap Hub, and it's just a place where everybody can gather and share their snaps. We also have a Discord. So 5 days a week, I pretty much cover snaps. Monday, I do Dreamsnap Reviews, where I review community Dreamsnaps in the hopes of helping as many people as possible get 4K. We do the same thing on Tuesday. On Wednesday, we cover the refresh. And usually, when I can stream my normal duration, we work on Dreamsnap builds, but we always start the stream by discussing Dreamsnap results. Every Wednesday, I make a post on my Facebook, and on that post, hundreds of people share their Dreamsnaps and their ranks. And then we look at it to really get a good feel for what the voters are liking. You know, you're going to see a lot of common things regardless of theme. There's going to be a lot of people that play the avatar close to the camera. Having the sun behind the camera with that sunset time of day to get really good color and lighting is very popular. So there are certain things that you see, and we call those the Dreamsnap meta. So, you know, most effective tactics available. I would say roughly about 70 to 80% of all snaps use these meta plays within the 4K range. So when I do my Dreamsnap reviews, the advice I give is not about what I like. It's not about my preference. It's about what we see doing well in the 4K range and how you can apply these things to make your Dreamsnap as competitive as possible to hopefully open your wallet less and earn more moonstones. So that's like the main thing we do. So yeah, Monday is Snap Reviews, Tuesday is Snap Reviews. Wednesday would be covering the refresh, discussing the new challenge, and making new example scenes. Because on Thursday, we make a guide video and publish it on YouTube for each challenge. We've done that for the past 24 weeks in a row, and every week we make a brand new guide specific to that week's theme. So, you know, if you're ever looking for ideas or inspiration for the Dreamsnaps, I always have, you know, multiple examples in those videos. We discuss popular plays, good villagers to use, good settings, good decor, you know, all kinds of fun stuff. And then Thursday, if we are streaming Dreamlight Valley, which most of the time we are, I think tomorrow we're actually going to stream Mecha Chameleon. But on Thursdays, we typically host a Dreamsnap Q&A, where you can ask any questions about the challenge following the guide video. And on Friday, we kick off the Dreamsnap Reviews. Saturday and Sunday, I'm off. So a lot to do with Dreamsnaps. But that's like my favorite thing in the game, so it's like the main thing I cover. Discord link. Yeah, type exclamation Discord, Coloring with Jen says, thank you, join. Welcome, my friend. Welcome to the Discord. And yeah, if you want to join our Facebook group as well, let me get you guys a link to that before I head out. Okay, here you go. I made this Dreamsnap group last weekend, and it went live Monday. We've only had the group active for 3 days, and it's already closing in on like 400 members, so it's growing very fast. And it's full of people that absolutely love Dream Snaps. So if you want to see some amazing snaps, or you want to share your snaps, or you want to ask for tips, you know, yeah, I always spam the links, Alex. Just makes them easier to click. You know, like if you're on PC, you know, it's harder to miss. Or if you're tapping your phone with your thumb. Being the first 1K, that's right, that's right. Before long, we'll have 1,000 people in the group. And yeah, we have new people joining every day. It's growing very fast. So yeah, if you want to be part of this amazing community over on Facebook as well, we'd love to have you. All right, well, that'll be it for today, you guys. Thank you for being here. Like I said, I went live earlier today because I got some errands to run. And I should be live around the normal time tomorrow. It just depends on how long it takes me to make the Dreamsnap guide video. Keep in mind, tomorrow, I do want us to play Mecha Chameleon. We might start the stream with Dreamlight Valley, maybe do some Dreamsnaps Q&A on Twitch, and then switch to Mecha. We'll see. It depends on the timeline and the schedule, but I'll keep you guys all updated via Discord. If you've never watched Mecha Chameleon before, it is a super fun multiplayer game. It's available on PC. It's $6. It's like hide and seek, but you paint yourself into the environment. It's so fun. But I would love to have, you know, a lot of players tomorrow. So if anybody is interested in joining, please shoot me a message on Discord. It is a Steam game, so you will need Steam. It's only $6. So if you haven't heard of it, you can search it. Mecha Chameleon is spelled M-E-C-C-A-H, and then Chameleon. All right. So yeah, thank you so much for being here. Skeletor says, it was nice meeting you today. Yeah, thank you again for the raid, Skeletor. I greatly appreciate it. Let me drop a follow back. Hopefully I can return the favor in the near future. And it was a pleasure, my friend. It was a pleasure. Oh, and last thing before I go, I know I said that like 5 times. We do have the new DLC coming out on the 8th. So a week from today, we will have Honeyglow Woods, and we will also have Twitch drops active here. So if you want to get the next round of Twitch drops, they will be going live next Wednesday, and they will be here on the stream. We would love to have you if you're looking for a place to get the drops. We're going to be diving deep into the new DLC. Usually when a new DLC or adventure pack or anything like that comes out, I typically finish the main story that day. Like, we finished Wish Blossom Ranch the day it came out. You know, I just like to unlock all the new stuff and check it out, so I usually, you know, push through it pretty fast. Going to get in, so I'm going to ask my mom when she's in a better mood. Yeah, the price is really reasonable. I thought it was going to be $20. And yeah, the fact that it was like under 20 was actually it was a welcome surprise. All right, you guys. Thank you for being here today. Have an amazing rest of your Thursday evening, and I will see you guys, Wednesday evening. Enjoy the refresh, enjoy the new items, and have fun with your snap builds. Again, you know, if you're not sure about what to do, I'll have a great guide on it out tomorrow. And yeah, thank you so much for 202 goals in a row. Absolutely incredible. Thank you, thank you. Another amazing new record. I really appreciate it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful night. I'll catch you tomorrow. All right. Ta-ta for now. Bye-bye.